Every time I see a basketball go up and shoot it, it look like a popcorn machine or something to me. I feel like I want to go grab the shot. If I wasn't scared the way I would land, I would block 9 or 10 shots a game. Because when I actually blocked Kareem's shot, I blocked it twice in that game. They called it goaltending. And I remember my cousin telling me, yeah, because you let it out of his hand. The first one I blocked, you see, is in his hand. It's like I blocked his duck. But the one that I blocked it almost to half court. But they look at it like, oh, you're supposed to just fingertip that. You can't block Kareem's shot like that. But I timed it perfectly.
Incredible hops for sure. Son of Flubber makes perfect sense when I think about it.
Then you are in Australia right now.
You're talking NBA basketball. You're talking great teams. You're talking great individual players.
Takes it off, and there's number 23, and of course Johnny goes nuts.
So I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it now.
I just tried to go out there and play my game.
I have no idea what you're talking about, Adam. I don't like anybody. I'm not a people person.
Strand, you made the pass. Yes. Christian, can you catch the ball? Yes.
All the stars were aligned and all the muscles fired at the right time, and I was able to get off the ground and throw one down.
I was saving that as a surprise for you.
And now, introducing your host for In All Airness, Adam Ryan.
Welcome to episode 132. Thanks for joining me. I'm excited to welcome Bill Willoughby to the show, one of the first players to jump straight from high school to the NBA. There are many more strings to his bow, as you'll soon hear in my introduction. However, Bill rose to national awareness during the 1981 NBA playoffs by virtue of his excellent defense against the legendary Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Willoughby is one of only a few to ever reject the captain's iconic skyhook, a topic we certainly cover in this refreshingly open and honest conversation. Towards the end of the episode, I'll share another great podcast review. If you can spare a moment, please add your review via Apple Podcasts. See the reviews link on my website, or your listening app of choice if it allows. It will be most appreciated. Show notes for this episode and access to a huge archive of past episodes are available at inallairness.com. Now, onto the show. My guest today was named All-American at Englewood High and led his team to a New Jersey championship. In 1975, he became the third player ever drafted from high school to professional basketball. Moses Malone went to the ABA in 1974. This gentleman was selected in the same NBA draft as Darryl Dawkins. He had an 8-year NBA career. Bill Willoughby, thanks for joining me.
Oh, my pleasure.
Before we actually chat about basketball, what sports or hobbies were you interested in when you were a child?
Basically, played baseball, collected baseball cards and football cards, things like that. Used to go to amusement parks.
Who were some of your favorite baseball players back in the day?
Oh, Hank Aaron, Willie Mays, Mickey Mantle.
Wow, some of the all-time greats. In terms of your height, you're 6'8". At what stage did you start to really grow and be taller than most of your peers?
Probably at a growth spurt, probably from 8th grade to 9th grade. I was 5'10" in the 8th grade, and then in the 9th grade, moved up to high school, and I was like 6'5", I think. So over that summer, I grew 6 or 7 inches.
Now, if my research is accurate, around 3rd grade, your cousins showed you a scrapbook of clippings about your uncle. How important was that moment in terms of helping foster your future in basketball?
My uncle, he played basketball with Dwight Morrow earlier in 1965. They were the best team in the northern New Jersey. Also, my sister's boyfriend was on the team. So I was in 1st grade. So when I used to go down to my grandfather's house where he lived, I used to read his scrapbook all the time and just ask him how many points he scored. And did he remember who won the game? When I used to stay down there on the weekends, all our cousins used to come and stay at the house. And I said, well, I want to do this one day where a young kid coming up behind me can read my scrapbook and hopefully get into basketball.
Oh, that's fantastic. I love to hear that. So what I've read, you averaged an amazing 32 points and 17 rebounds per game as a high school senior at Dwight Morrow. Some newspapers actually printed that your average was upwards of 35 points per game. you had NBA and ABA scouts attending your home games, including one of the all-time great players, Oscar Robertson, who was apparently scouting with the Milwaukee Bucks at the time. Just for some context for our listener here, one article listed your season-high scoring games, including 45, 46, 51, and even a 54-point effort. So clearly you're an outstanding talent. How aware were you of the growing number of scouts that were watching you from the stands as a high school senior?
Basically started in that summer. I went to 5-star camp, and a guy named Harry Garfinkel scouting people all over the country. And I went there and I played every position. So they had me listed at center. But by the time I left out of that camp over that summer for my senior year, I was listed as a guard, which I really was. I was a guard, and I could play at every position. I was right up there in the first team All-American preseason coming out, and could basically do everything. Pass the ball, bring it up, go inside, play 7-footers, small forward. I could play every position. So I think they had me down as E for everything. I wasn't a guard, forward, or a center. I could play any position. Street and Smith had me there, their number one player. They had a lot of different sporting news and different book groups, Parade Magazine, who had their number one player. And I think I was the number one in most of them.
Love how you're referred to as E for everything. That's fantastic. What size was the gymnasium that you played in when you were in high school, and how big were the crowds that were also growing to watch you play throughout that senior season?
We had about 2,200 people. That's what it was. And when I played my senior year, it was kind of crazy because we would score like 100 points a game with no three-point shots, no dunking. And that was basically my forte. I loved to do that when I played in New York City, which I played over there a lot. So they basically heard from me to play in the summer, to play with New York players against Jersey players, and back and forth, Jersey players against New York players. So it wasn't no big arenas that I played in. That in high school, the baskets come from the ceiling, and there's no crowd at the end of the basket. So I played in college arenas in New York. The first time I got to play was seeing fans like at the end of the baskets, because the basket is pushed in. Look like it's low. So you got to adjust to a lot of things. And that's why I think I was able to go to the pros early and play against a lot of older people when I was young. When I was 12, I used to play with 17-year-olds. And then at 17, I used to play in New York against 18, 19, 20-year-olds. So I just get exposure early. I pursued it. Anytime I wasn't playing in Jersey, I was playing in New York. I was able to play because I was actually a guard when I was 5'10". So when I grew to 6 inches, I still was a guard in my mind. But they used to put me underneath the basket, and I didn't have really no move. So I just jump over people and shoot. But I learned, I kept my skills because I can dribble a lot, dribble real good. What the coach told me to do, just to try to win ball games.
Now, in terms of the players in New York, who were a few of the names that you were going up against as a teenager before we even get to chat about your incredible leap to the NBA?
Oh, Vinnie Johnson. Some guys made pros. Tony Price. He went to Penn, played with the Pistons. And guys like Arnold Duggar. They played overseas. Alexander Eldridge. Bernard Toon. He played with Marquette. He played for the Philadelphia 76ers. Al Green. All these guys played Division I, LSU, North Carolina State. And in Jersey, guys like Wilbur Ross, who played at the University of Detroit. John Long, Terry Tyler, Terry Durrell, and all those guys. Yeah, I played all in the 5 boroughs in New York. Manhattan, Queens, Bronx, Brooklyn, Long Island, with all-star teams. I traveled with them to Philadelphia, Buffalo, played all over Harlem and Manhattan, the playgrounds, in schools, and then we played like at CTNY, City College in New York, Fordham. So I had scouts kind of know what I could do, because the rule was in 1972, that's the first time they let players play varsity ball. So everything was open for college coaches to come and watch you play all year round, the summer and the regular season. I remember the first team All-America. These guys I didn't play against, but I heard from them all over the country. This was Dow Dawkins from Florida. Bill Cartwright was from California. And then you had Larry Gibson, who was from Washington, D.C. I played against him in the summer camp. They were all 7-footers. And myself and a guy named Cal Macy that played with Kentucky. He made the league to Phoenix Suns. So it was 3 centers and 2 guards. First team All-American, 1974-75 season.
Just some great background there. Thank you for sharing it with us. I'm sure you must have, given all the different boroughs you played in across New York. Were you a part of the Rucker Park scene at any stage?
Oh, no question about it. From 6th grade, from watching Pee Wee Kirkland and Joe Hammond and those guys. And actually, I'm a top 50 Rucker.
Didn't actually know that. There you go.
Yes, the 50th anniversary was 2015. And the first time a guy went from high school to the pros was 1975. So we had the anniversary of 50 years for them and 40 for me. So I went over there and met Pee Wee and Fly Williams and all those guys were my idols. Charlie Scott and those guys, Julius Erving, they all played over there. And I actually went pro. I wasn't able to play in the league games with Rucker like all those guys that I mentioned did. But I played in the high school league, and then we came back and played all-star games against different cities like Philadelphia, Washington, D.C., New Jersey, Connecticut. And then I went pro. So a lot of times in the summer we were playing the Southern California League indoors, and the street ball players against the pros was back at Rucker. Everything changed then because they basically told us don't play too much on cement because you might get wore down and a lot of injuries. And I know this happened to a lot of players over the careers where your knees turn that cement is really hard on you in your career, especially when you're a leaper. I know like myself. So, yeah, I made Rucker, and a lot of my great idols was on it. And I actually met probably everyone on there from Kareem. I'm trying to get with him now to put out this T-shirt, blocking the skyhook, which I did later on in my career. But I knew him when he was 18 from Connie Hawkins, all those guys, Pablo Robinson, the Globetrotters. I went over there every weekend and played in Rucker. People all over the world should know that because I'm proud of being a top 50 Rucker. These guys were great, and just wasn't enough spots in the NBA, especially when the ABA folded. If you look at it back in the day, a lot of those players, the ABA, Julius Erving, George Gervin, Dan Issel, Charlie Scott, David Thompson. I even got drafted by the Denver Nuggets. My dream was the NBA. And actually it folded the next year after I got into the NBA. So a lot of players went overseas and they played in the ABA because the NBA just wasn't enough spots.
I've just got a big smile on my face here as you reeled off so many of those great names to be involved with Rucker Park. It's just wonderful to hear your recollections. So would you have associated with Peter Vesey, the legendary journalist at the time with Rucker Park?
Oh, yeah, I know Pete real good. I think he was Dr. J's coach out there, but I played some all-star games when I was in the pros for him in Fordham University with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Hollis Copeland and Carlton Green, a lot of street ball players and pros played there. So, yeah, he actually knew my management that I had all-pro reps who were Louis Tefel and Jerry Davis. These guys actually owned the Miami Heat before they sold it to Pat Riley.
Okay.
Yeah, that's another story that I'm trying to put in the documentary in the book because that's the kind of way that I left the NBA. It wasn't good. It was billionaires and a lot of players that made their money lost it in ways that it shouldn't have been done. So that's what Pete Vesey knows that, but nobody wants to give the NBA a black eye or anything. But someday some should go out about that.
That is very interesting to hear. I did read a few articles about some issues that involved agents that you had dealt with throughout your career. And maybe towards the end of the conversation, when we talk about the latter part of the 1980s and you're looking to get back into the NBA, might bring up the new Miami franchise at that stage, perhaps. I mentioned Peter Vesey because he's a previous guest of the show and a great conversationalist, and I had a chance to meet with him in New York 3 or 4 years ago now, and it was great just to be able to catch up with him. I mentioned before we were chatting today that I'd be speaking to you, and he said to mention, of course, the famous block you had against Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who you've talked about already, in Game 1 of the 1981 playoff series. He believes you might have a framed photo of that moment in your house. Is that correct?
Actually, no. I never got it like that. I'm trying to get the picture right now to put it on T-shirts. So I'm in the process of doing that. So I have to get Sports Illustrated approval, NBA, also Kareem. So right when you called, I was in the process of trying to hear back from Sports Illustrated to see what to do, because that's something I really want to do. I think I got a story that first I could do it. I think I can unwind everything that's going on. If you look at it, I went high school to the pros. In 20 years, nobody did it for 20 years. So I think they held me back on purpose because they wanted guys to go to college. And everybody's getting paid in college now. They never did then. So they said, if I came out and been a star like Magic Johnson or Kobe Bryant or something, I think everybody would start jumping out. And that was right when they let freshmen play ball. So I think I took the hit on my career for other people. Because you look at David Stern, he said that he didn't want no pro scouts in high school gyms. And I had ABA and NBA teams in there. So why, when I get to the NBA, I'm not being able to play my game? Because you know why? The owner and the GM and the coach. Okay, the owner gives the GM the job to choose the coach. If the coach don't play the guy that he drafts, then that makes the owner say the GM don't know what he's doing. And a lot of people don't know that. And then they draft out of the ACC, Pac-10. If you get a label as not a defensive player and the team has enough scores, you can lead the nation in scores and get cut in the NBA. And I can give you names, Tony Murphy, people like that. Outscored Andrew Toney. He never made the league because they thought he was dumb, something like that. I could write books and stories and everything that I know about the NBA. They thought because I didn't go to college that I was dumb and stupid. And I got a college degree. And I go get a master's and a doctor's degree. But still, you go to college, you go somewhere and try to get a job, they like, you still ain't one of us, one of our boys or something. You don't come from UCLA or Notre Dame or Texas. You come out of high school. So I'll be trying to get all the high school players together to do a logo for Tracy McGrady, Sean Kemp, the late Kobe Bryant's people, LeBron James. I actually met these guys when they were 17, 18. So nobody knows that. Nobody's saying it because you got billionaires and tell people don't go back to where they came from. So I met LeBron James when he was 17, and I haven't talked to him since. So I'm trying to get the Kareem block, go to his game when he breaks Kareem's record, and hope they put this on a T-shirt.
I hope that comes to fruition. Do you actually think that you would be looking to put a book out at some stage to talk about all these topics and some of the back office politics that go on behind the scenes?
Yeah, I'm trying to do a book and a movie right now.
You mentioned the documentary there, so you're also looking at doing a book to go with that.
Yes, because the documentary is halfway done. What I did, I actually walked to Rucker. It's in the documentary. You can look it up. It's Checkpoint Productions. A guy named David Check did half of it. He's from Tennessee, New Jersey. I told him the story first out of high school. I made the Guinness Book of World Records, Supreme Court decision from high school to the pros. The youngest to ever do it. I told him I used to walk to Rucker, and they filmed it. And I sat in the park with the people who run Rucker, Bob McCullough, and it's all on film, but it's halfway done because I didn't have the money to finish it, and they couldn't finish it. So I'm hoping to get the Kareem block, take it to where LeBron James breaks his record. And hopefully I can have my jersey with Kareem block, because I know he don't want a T-shirt with him getting shot blocked. Okay?
Yeah.
It's somebody breaking his record, but it's two people. Takes one to break a record and one to make it. Records are made to be broken. So I know both of these guys. Maybe LeBron don't remember me because it was like when he was 17, but I know Kareem knows me. So I'm trying to do this for just say what's going on. Defense win championships. And I play defense. I play offense and defense. Every minute I'm out there. I'm never fooled. And I was 6'8" and I was the last line of defense on every team I played for. I used to tell the centers like Moses and guys who I played with, and you ain't got to foul a guy because if he get up over you, I'm going to block it.
Some of the highlights that I've seen of your game on YouTube, that's definitely the case. And of course, the classic block on Kareem. And then the following game as well, there was a fantastic block of another one of his shots where you also sent that one back, and it ended up with a fast break dunk for Moses. So some great highlights there that definitely back that up.
Yes, and I want to teach defense. That's what I want to get back to what I did 20 years ago when I graduated. I spoke at the rookie program when guys like Jason Kidd and Glenn Robinson, Steve Francis, and I spoke with all these guys before they got in the NBA in the rookie program. And I haven't done nothing in 20 years, and I want to get back in and just speak to them. I think I can offer a lot.
Yeah, I reckon you can too, for sure. You were just 18 years and 156 days old, according to Basketball Reference, when you made your NBA debut. Just before we get to that moment and talk about that, the 1975 NBA draft was held in late May, and the number one pick was David Thompson, who was originally drafted by Atlanta. You were selected 19th pick overall. You were the first pick in the second round. Where were you on draft day, and how did you learn that you were picked by the Atlanta Hawks?
I was actually home. They didn't have it like they did the last few years. Actually, it was called hardship draft. My mother and father couldn't make enough money for us to go into the draft. So that's what it's called, hardship. Now it's called early entry. So basically it was home. It's not, we on no TV. Nobody walked on no stage. It's just you called and they said, this who picked you. You know, the agent that I had, that's what he said. And it was crazy because I got drafted by the ABA also for Denver Nuggets because I was going to go to North Carolina. So I had a good relationship with Dean Smith. Larry Brown was the coach. He's from New York. If I wasn't going to go to Atlanta, I could go to Denver. And it would look like me, David Thompson, and Marvin Webster was like all going to go to the same team. But they had ABA ties. And I think, Larry Brown with North Carolina State, and Marvin Webster. So I wasn't really in on that. So I always wanted to go to the NBA. So I went to the NBA. And if you look at it, I could have played on the best teams that ever played at the age that I was. It wasn't for coaching. And like I tell you, the Pac-10, ACC, SEC, people draft from there. 6 or 7 players also play for the same team over and over and over. A lot of people don't get a chance to show what they can do. And this is my story also, what I went through. And so I played, always, it's minutes played and playing defense and playing to win the games. Now, how many points you get. That's what I try to teach young kids. So if you look at it, the next year, the ABA folded. They started with 10 teams and then 5. So St. Louis went into perpetuity. They paid them like $800 billion or something, and they didn't let them in. But if you look at that draft, when I went to Atlanta, I was a guard. So I could have played 2 guard. We already had John Drew. So they fired Cotton Fitzsimmons, who drafted. So Hubie Brown came in and basically told me, I didn't pay my dues. He called us losers and everything. So look what he did. We had the first pick in the NBA draft, okay, and we had the first pick in the dispersal draft for the ABA. We had the worst record in the league. And what he did was he didn't take Maurice Lucas because he hated Maurice Lucas, this guy Hubie Brown in Kentucky. Okay, so he takes Jeff Petrie, who was hurt, never played a game again. He was hurt. He was from Princeton, and then Steve Hart. That's who he took instead of taking Maurice Lucas, who was the best power forward in the game at that time because he won the championship with Portland, with Blue Water. Then instead of taking Robert Parrish, we needed a center, but he wasn't the number 1 pick. They traded the pick for Josie Merriweather and Armand Hill to Houston. And Houston didn't even take Robert Parrish. They took John Lucas. So I could have played with Robert Parrish if we had a smart coach and a smart organization. Robert Parrish was the center. Maurice Lucas was the power forward. John Drew was the small forward. I would have been the 2 guard, which Kobe Bryant and all these, Tracy McGrady and all these guys. I played just like them back in the day. And then Tom Henderson, who played in the Olympics and everything, he was one of the best point guards in the league. That would have been our starting 5. We all was like under 22. We got a dynasty right there.
Yeah, it would have been an absolute frightening lineup with that array of talent. You mentioned Hubie Brown there. He replaced Cotton Fitzsimmons as coach in your second season with the Hawks. And I'd read in newspaper articles that your relationship with Hubie was obviously quite rocky. There was a 1980 article, this is from you, quote, "My career stopped when Hubie Brown got there," end quote. So how demanding was that second year with the Hawks and your relationship, or maybe lack thereof, with Hubie throughout that season, Bill?
Oh, it's not even worth talking about because you can't even get me one person that said a nice thing about this guy. Okay? Not one person. And I really don't waste my time with him because what he does is he came in and called us all losers. And he came from the AB folded. Nobody can say nothing good about him. Rip Pitino, right, Costello, all these guys are from New Jersey. They can't play basketball. So they say, we're going to coach and treat you like a slave, okay, and call you losers because when new coach come in, he just cleans everything out. He's like, oh, no, there's tension here. I'm coming in here. And all he is demanding coach. If you look at it, he cuts your point production, your minutes down. If you look at him, I can give several examples of this. But he ain't even worth talking about. But I'm just want you to say this and hear this overseas. Okay? He had Bill Cartwright in there. First of all, he tried to make Patrick Ewing a power forward because he had him and Bill Cartwright. Patrick got him fired. Okay, they fired Dave the Butcher before they fired him. He's a one-man player. If you look at it, Chuck Robinson was on the team. He's one of the best power forwards. Passed the ball to Bernard King. Okay? He had Ray Williams and Michael Ray Richardson and all these guys. If you look at it, Bernard King took like 70% of the shots. Okay? And then when you lost, he blamed the players. Okay? When he's in the ABA, he said flagrant foul Dr. J because Dr. J, they used to come in and watch him. So the visiting team, the visiting team, they be like clapping for him to dunk on Artis Gilmore and make his team look bad. I can go on and on with this guy because it's not just him. It's Mike Fratello, who's coached in the NBA 10 or 20 years, and he's at NBA TV, and he ain't but 5'1", can't even touch the net. Okay, but he gonna tell you about basketball. All these guys are from New Jersey. They say, I can't make the NBA, but I'm a coach. And then they commentate, and they've been doing that. None of them know nothing about basketball. Okay, so he said, two players, ask Darryl Walker, ask anybody who played with him. You're not gonna have one person, maybe Bernard King. If you read his book, he told him, you ain't gonna holler and make me look like a little kid, because he gave him the ball all the time. So these guys are from Jersey. That's what I know about him. Mike Fratello, Chuck Daly, Brendan Sturr. All these guys cannot play basketball at all, but they're going to be on television telling people what they're already looking at and see and get paid millions of dollars for it. This is ridiculous. He's not even a good coach or nothing. I'm just, man, if I had him when I was 18, 19 years old, but I think they made people cry on their knees and beg them to stop abusing them. I could do a movie and make this guy look like the worst clown, man, that ever. You let him in the NBA? Articles way back, I said Ted Turner actually hired him twice. So I know he don't know nothing about basketball because he's a coach, he's an announcer. Okay? And that's all he is. It's like Dick Vitale is another. All these guys, the stories about you can believe. How they got into the pros, and then the people that hire him, you just got to know somebody. And he backstabbed everybody, Rick Pitino, all these guys that he had, he came up with us from New Jersey. They're from the same leagues that we all grew up in and played in. Bel-Air, New Jersey, that's where he's from. They can't play.
I appreciate your candor, being New Jersey born and bred and having your relationships with these people throughout your lifetime. Then I can only imagine some of the things that you've had to endure when you were such a young person entering the league as well. If we just revert back to your rookie season when you were under coach Cotton Fitzsimmons, the best game of your rookie season was in April of 1976. It was actually against Darryl Dawkins and the 76ers. They came to Atlanta, to the Omni, and you had a 20-point, 18-rebound, 3-block game, which were all season highs for you. And you also had 4 assists, which tied a season high. Now, all these stats are courtesy of the great basketballreference.com. You had the win, 123-109, and you outscored the 76ers by 16 points in the fourth quarter. So all that said, what was it like to go up against Chocolate Thunder, as he's affectionately known, rest in peace, Darryl Dawkins, to also have the same experience of going from high school to the pros, playing against him and having such a great performance there, Bill?
Well, that was a very good moment. Me and Jai were good friends. We always talked and went out together when we played. But that was the first game that I played over 40 minutes. I think I could have did that like 10 or 20 times if I got the minute. So that's why I say coach can stop your career from playing. And Cotton drafts me, and I can get 20 points and 18 rebounds. And if he'd have played me like 40 minutes, because 18 points and 18 rebounds, I would have averaged over a 48-minute period. So any minutes he played underneath that, I would have points and rebounds the same. 16 points, 16 rebounds, 12 points, 12 rebounds, and blocks and steals. And that's all I wanted Cotton to do. But you can ask Kareem or any of them. He said, I'm a kid, only 18, 19, the youngest guy I ever played. But different coaches come in and say, well, I didn't draft you. You're not a guard to me. And they don't give you a chance to go in there and play. So if you look at the NBA now, it's only a 2-year guarantee. Okay, after 2 years, you can sign for $50 million like Don Sick and Trey Young and guys. But you got guys, okay, you sit the bench again, people like OKC, then you don't know if you're going to make that third year. That's how hard it is. We only got one league, and the coach that takes you, you don't know if you're going to be coaching the team next year if the teams win, if you don't meet expectations. So I know all about all of that. That's why I talk to the guys that drafted me. It's like, now you look at it, if the GM is telling the coach, you better play my player, you can see how agents get guys money when they have a good season. You look at Julius Randle, all these guys like that. They're getting paid like they second team all NBA, even if their average drops to 17 to 18. So it's not really a team game. It's a 3-point shot, and the guys is playing for salaries. Only teams that win is that play together. There's a lot of flash and dash and stuff like that, but guys, there need to be regulations of what's going on, because a GM is going to say, you play my player, and you make the agent mad, he ain't going to send no players here. That's why the Knicks keep losing, and that's why players don't want to come there, because it's a merry-go-round with coaches. 1 year is Honatech, 1 year is Fizdale, then it's somebody else coming in there, then it's World Wide West choosing this guy, choosing Thibodeau. So just think, if you come there and you don't know the next year what the coach is going to be. I played last year, now this year I ain't playing, then I'm hoping my agent can get me somewhere else.
Yeah, there's a lot of machinations behind the scenes that obviously an observer like me or anybody on the outside doesn't really know the intricate workings of actually what goes on.
Yes, all to try to win a game. And I got all kind of stories I want to put in a book and my documentary. One team going to win the championship. I tell kids, and that's what I do best, speak in school. I say, you got 30 teams and 29 losers is going home. Okay, and guys are trying to get big contracts for statistics, and you play team ball, you play defense, and you might be on the move and keep being on the move. So franchise tags and all that, guys are playing for statistics. And I seen that when I came in the NBA when I was 18 years old. And that's what it is. GMs, people get fired, and you got to play for somebody to see you, to even give you a chance to get on the court. Like I said, every point I scored, I had a rebound with it, and I always played defense. If you look at it, I had defensive freedom. I was not guarding Kareem. I left a 6'11" Jimmy Jones. If you look at it, Magic, and I also met him when he was still in college. These guys won't get nobody a job and nothing like that. When you look at it, Kareem is 7 feet. You got Worthy and those guys 6'8", 6'9", and then you got Magic 6'9", and I was guarding Jim Jones who's 6'11". So I left him and I blocked a 7-footer shot. But then again, I can't get the ball. If I ask for a few shots, or you're selfish, or you this and that, so you don't even want to open your mouth. And then that's the way it is. Keep your bags packed and glad that you're a pro. But I thought the game was trying to win championship, not to pad your statistics. And this game is won by agents. Agents is like, you score 20 points, I can get you $100 million, regardless if you win it or not. So I could write the book on it.
Well, I hope that you do, and certainly I hope that you get the rest of this documentary together as well. Returning to your career, particularly in September of 1977, Atlanta traded you to the Buffalo Braves. And on that team, you were teammates with Marvin Barnes, who's obviously an iconic figure in basketball history. I actually read in a couple of articles that he invited you over for dinner on numerous occasions during that 1978 season with Buffalo. How was your relationship with Marvin, and what did you make of that time spent playing for the Braves?
Well, Marvin, when I was in high school, I idolized these guys. I watched him play in the ABA. They upset Dr. J after they won the championship. So he seen I was a single guy, and he offered me coming for dinner all the time to come over there and just hang out with him. He had like a reputation as being a tough guy and having guns and hitting somebody or whatever, but I know he had my back out there, and I had his back. So if somebody hit you when you ain't looking, you can find out who really did it to you, because a lot of backstabbing in the league. And I stopped really jumping for a while because somebody, I got undercut and clotheslined by a couple of people, but I knew he had my back. And yeah, he was a guy that watched it. He played at Providence, and he got drafted by the 76ers, second pick after Bill Walton. It was a dream to play with your idols. He used to ride to the airport together, and he used to have girls like send me hot meals because it was cold in Buffalo. He was like 5. All these guys are 4 or 5 years older than me, so I'm impressed by them. And the whole team, he knew basically was in the ABA, so they took care of me. I could go over their house and have dinner. We had Swin Nader was on the team, Chuck Williams, Wilbur Jones. It was basically a whole ABA team that John Wyatt Brown had, and I fit in with them. That's what it was. For that one season, I met him, and everybody was a lot older than me, so I hung out with all of them, basically.
Also, I read somewhere that you'd spend multiple nights during the week in a hotel by yourself because you were too young to actually go downstairs to the bar. That's accurate, I guess, based on what you were just saying there with having some meals even sent to you sometimes.
Correct. Yeah, correct. Couldn't order a drink. I wasn't 21. I was my third year. I was just 20 years old. So if I wanted a drink or something, some guys would order it to my room for me. I have to come up there and get it. And I didn't know anywhere to go. I never had been on a plane before. So a lot of times you're guilty by association if a guy has a reputation as a womanizer or using drugs or something like that. They try to say that you do that, but this is your friend. We all come from different areas of the country and in the world, and we different ages. And like I said, I didn't go to college. So after the game, we would go and meet people in the hotel and have good meals and sit and talk. And I would just listen to the college stories that they would be having, people that made the Olympics. And I'd be fascinated because, you didn't go to college. So, you went to the Pac-10. He played with Ernie DiGregorio at Providence. And to tell me the stories about him, I know him real good. So I just was hanging out, all the guys he played with, Fly Williams, and we just sit and I just listen to their stories, and we go out to, to have something to eat, and I would go out to discos with them because I didn't want to be alone.
Prior to the 1979 season, the Buffalo Braves franchise was relocated. It was basically a franchise swap. You were relocated to San Diego, and then the team became the San Diego Clippers. In mid-October of 1978, coach Gene Shue made you the final cut before his regular season with the Clippers. How difficult was it to take that news just prior to the regular season that you weren't going to be a member of the Clippers?
Oh, he was like a Hubie Brown type of guy. He's another guy that plays out of a hat and couldn't coach anybody past a two-way street. If you look at it, you had the best team in the world and couldn't win a championship for 2 years in a row. You had Julius Erving, George McGinnis, Welby Free, Dow Dawkins, the best team in the world, and you lose in the championship. So I knew that he wouldn't even give me a chance. And that's what I tell you, how that if you're from a certain school or you played with, he kept people that I was twice as good at. He stopped my career. He had Nick Weatherspoon. He had all these guys starting, and I couldn't make the team. Every time we played an exhibition game, me and Freeman Williams would score every time. He gave us a pick and roll play. He would throw me an alley-oop, or he would bounce it on the floor and I would dunk it, or Freeman would have a shot. But like I said, people that played for Philly, they kept Cornell Norman. He kept this guy from Auburn. I mean, he kept guys people don't even remember because he knows them. He coached them. He stayed long enough. That's all the NBA basically is. You hire your buddy, and even if he loses, you keep him there. If you look at it, that team, Willoughby Free, averaged 30. That's probably the only team in the history of the game to where 3 guards led the team in scoring. Freeman came off the bench. He was the 3rd leading scorer on the team. So you had Willoughby Free getting 30, Randy Smith getting 20, Freeman getting like 17. Nobody else on that team averaged 10 points. When Nader was on that team, I don't think he averaged 10 points. So I'd have been on the bench. This guy's like, his nickname is Space Ghost. Okay? And Willoughby Free shot the ball every time he got it. You had 2 guards out there who never passed. So I'm glad I wasn't on that team because after you don't play winning basketball, guys just playing for contracts. And they just shooting. And that's what's wrong with the NBA. You got one-way players. Play people that score, don't play defense. And now the three-point shot, guys that shoot from 40 feet. And you got 7-footers and 6'10" people battling there for the rebound. I got clothesline, like, you know what that means, right?
Yes. Straight arm to the shoulders or head, yeah.
Yeah, you come down head first. Leaping, that's why I stopped leaping a lot, because when David Thompson, I seen him get flipped on his head. So I would go after every block, every rebound. I can really jump. I have one of the top verticals. And these guys with clothesline, you could break your shoulder, you can even die, have a concussion. So if you ain't getting the ball, you always don't look right. Just saying about being in San Diego, the guards, all those 3 guards, never passed. Freeman Williams led the nation in scoring twice, and he's my buddy. So we always connected for 10 or 12 points in exhibition games. And he stumped my career for nothing. Because if I'd have played, I wasn't going to get 10 points. Look what I used to do later on in my career. I'd get 16 points at halftime, end up with 18 points. And these guys, the agents that I had, the coaches, Hubie Brown and all these guys, and Stan Allback, they had my agent. And all of them, they robbed me. It's part of my career in playing, but that's when I didn't play for San Diego, because Bob Bigelow, guys was going to that team to get 3 years in the league, to get a pension, and then he was quitting. I know everything about the game because I'm just not a player. I'm a fan of the game. I can give you statistics. I could tell you all the way back to the 60s what the NBA was and what it's doing, and what David Stern and all these people did. So it's hard to have a career when you're an all-around player and you see people going for themselves. It's just like, oh, let me shoot the ball every time I get it too, because it's a numbers game. Okay? I would break to players that was trying to get 60 points out there. But my good friends. The good friends that I don't like to talk about, but I'm like, you're just a one-way player, man. You hang with somebody and you a gangster, but then you go on the court, you're going to fly all around the country and you're going to get 2 shots. If you dunk backwards, you too fast. You go between your legs, you throw it behind your back. Oh, we don't play like that. But they let all these other people do everything they want. If you say something, here's your plane ticket, you cut. And that's what basically happened to me in San Diego when my career got stunted before I made it back.
It sounds like a tough existence, to say the least. You actually mentioned statistics there. I read somewhere in another article that you would often do stats at home while you're watching games on television. Is that accurate?
Oh, no question. Mathematical genius.
What made you so interested in the statistics and going to the point where you'd actually chart a game and see what was happening? Were you just that interested in the game, or you just love numbers as well?
Both. When I came into the league, first the basketball perspective, Connie Hawkins told me, yeah, he's one of the best players ever. But he didn't make the NBA till he was 27. They called him out. He went to the little scandal. But he told me to watch every player you playing against and keep a chart in your head of what they do. Can they jump? Can they shoot? Do they go left, right? What are they? They left-handed? Do they make free throws? And I know everybody in the team in my head, because that's why I give kids a lot of quick questions when I go to school. I say, yeah, millions, billions, 6 trillion. You keep going. And the numbers is infinity. You can keep doing that. So you put a fantasy game with that. Then the card game I used to play, I love statistics, like even with baseball, stuff like that, percentage, field goal percentage, and all that. It's just a bunch of numbers. I used to keep that in my head all the time. I love education, but I seen a way to make it an NBA, and I went early. I could make history, so that's what I did. But you put real people with it, because I love to watch the box scores. I used to keep the box scores from the ABA and just cut them out. And then when the season was over, I used to go back and just do the statistics on it. Guy averages 27.7, next guy 25.8. So how did they come to that decision? Or calculus or multiplication, division, and do it like this. And I used to play a game like that and keep the statistics. That's the job I was trying to get. The job I'm trying to get was that. I worked for the Lives Bureau, Sports Lives Bureau.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and then I tried to work for a sneaker company because I went to the school for public relations, communications. I think I could put out sneakers that kids are wear. And also I want to work for Slam Magazine. I think I could write articles. I got a college degree, and they still won't let me work or do anything. So you're going to have a coach stop your career. This is the main thing that happened. This later on when I went to Houston, where Jerry West told me, they tried to make me like Michael Cooper. He said, you're not going to get 20 points. And the coach is right there, Del Harris. Okay? And then he said, just run the court and go to the free throw line. So I got ready to tell him, like, give me the ball for a month and I'll get 20 every game. But I wasn't bold enough to tell Jerry West that or whatever. And if you look at it, if you run the court and go to the free throw line, you can score 10 points without a field goal attempt. So you're good when you can go to the free throw line. That helps your field goal percentage. And then that means dunk the ball. I'm running on the break. Unless I have somebody like Kevin McHale and these guys grabbing you under your neck and flipping you in the air, just stopping you from a basket. That's how bad he want to win. So he going to tell me to do that. But if I ask for more shots to get 20, is it okay? Game I don't get 20, you can stop giving me the ball. It looked like when I say it, it's selfish. Because he told me, he said, you don't have no play, you ain't get no plays, you can't get 20. You imagine somebody telling you that, and then you get 18 points at halftime, and they take you, don't even play you no more. And then tell you, oh, you're not playing as hard as you used to. Man, you want to suck your teeth. If you don't go back in the game and do what he say, and he cut your passion down like that, and then you lose the game to Dr. J. Games, I could have got 40 points easily because I was just bench, but you can't do it on the bench. Just get me in the game because I ain't got no plays. So when you hot like that, you can go, you just get the ball and shoot it because you know it's going in. The only thing they can do is keep you on the bench. And this was guys like James Hugh and Huey Brown that cut me. I'll be in the game, the box score, you got 18, you got this here in 20 minutes. And I'm playing defense. And I'm playing defense now. If you watch me when I played in the Celtics series and all that, I played defense and offense. I don't think nobody ever played the minutes that I played that when I was blocking people's shot. Everybody on that team, I blocked their shot. Okay? And when they gave me the ball, I scored with it. But what they do is you get 16, then you'll get 4 the next game. And you do the math, that's 10 points.
Yeah.
So what they'll do is they'll play you 20 minutes, you'll get 14, 15 points. You have a good game. In the next game, you'll play 20 minutes, but you'll get 8. You'll never get more playing time for success. So you keep them at 10 points and playing defense. And look what happened when I played in the finals when I was in Houston. How you going to start a person the second half of 2 championship games, but I'm not good enough to start the game? You going to play me the second half, and I don't even have a play. Just think of that. You know, How you going to feel? What can I do? I can name these people's names, or I can write a book or do anything of them. You know, just Jerry West is the logo of the NBA. You're not going to say nothing against him. He tell you to do stuff, you're going to do it.
Absolutely. It's a really hard balancing act. And when your minutes are restricted or you don't get the opportunity to show your immense talents, it makes it difficult to even want to have a passion for the game, no matter what level you're playing at. As you said, it doesn't need to be 30 points a game, but you want to make sure that you've contributed, you've been a part of the team, and it's the overall experience.
Exactly. I used to tell Pee Wee Kirkland and Joe Hammond and them, and they were a lot older than me. I'm like, you can shoot all you want because if you miss, I'm going to get the rebound. I don't care if I get my points off the board rather than the break. I just want to play in the game. I don't care about that. And I didn't think the pros was like that. That's why guys that go to college and play like 100 games and then go to and work for Sony or Magnavox or something, just play basketball for fun. You said the pros is like this? I said, you wouldn't believe it. Guy don't like you, you make an expression or suck your teeth or something like that. Look what happened to Nate Robinson when he played for the Knicks with Dan Toney. He won the dunking contest 3 years in a row. He went on the break and bounced it on the floor and tried to dunk it, and he missed it. He sat him for 20 straight games and then traded him. And people like that entertainment of the game. And it wasn't that his man scored on the other end. It wasn't like, oh, he stopped playing defense. He probably went down the court and made sure nobody scored, but he hated them. You can see you on a team like that. That's what I'm saying with Hubie Brown and Gene Stew and guys like that. It's a personal thing. The other part of the game is that they steal your money. And then people don't know that. David Stern actually hired the guy for the Miami Heat that stole our money. You can look all this up. Willoughby versus Stafford. If you look at that, that's Supreme Court history. Okay? My lawyer made a mistake and didn't sue Louis Chappelle of the Miami Heat while he was owning it. My lawyer instead of my agent. My agent was Louis Chappelle. He was owning the Miami Heat. And my lawyer didn't sue him, so he had to pay me. So it looked like they was in cahoots. And David Stern knew this all the time. When I won my case, Willoughby versus Stafford, he sold the team to Pat Riley. Look at this with a new book out. And I'm trying to go back to the 70s because I tell you, I'm a historian. Look at blood on the floor with what Pat Riley did to the Knicks there. And Hubie Brown was there too. That was worse than that. Okay, I could give you names who the ass was. Look what Hubie Brown did. He signed Kevin McHale to a front-loaded $90 million contract, knowing that he wasn't going to sign with the Knicks. He just did that, okay, because the Celtics wasn't giving him like 75% upfront money. So he used the Knicks just to get his money. Then they turned around and Rory Sparrow, Marvin Webster, and Fly Williams. He didn't want none of them. So the Celtics also signed them. So they doubled or tripled their contract. And he didn't want the players that he had on the team. And he knew McHale, so it was just, it looked like I'll give you $90 million, even though it was like first refusal, stuff like that, where you restricted or something. Okay? So this was the kind of deals was going on in the 80s. Backstabbing and stuff like that. And they didn't even want Rory Sparrow in them. And they signed to him like $500,000. They was only worth like a $200,000 or something. So the Celtics signed them and said, you ain't going to have a team if you don't re-sign these guys.
Yeah, it's playing one team against another, I guess, just for the gain of the other person.
Yeah, to up your salary, we'll give you $90 million. The Celtics were probably going to give him $30 million guarantees. They gave him like 80 out of 90, like 80 or 70 or something. He just used them. Just saying the players that I have, I don't even want. So the Celtics sold them back to him. This is like ridiculous. This is people that own the team. And they be thinking I'm dumb, and I'm like, oh, I didn't play. I had a checkered career. I'm like, these guys robbed us of our money, didn't play us, so I had to play.
I can't even pretend to know how that feels, so I won't say anything particularly about that, but I do feel the obvious frustration there that you must be experiencing and still thinking back to these sort of times. So I'm not trying to bring up bad interactions or memories for you, but just in relation to your time after you left the Buffalo Braves, you mentioned Magic Johnson a while ago. I read that you were on the Lakers Pro Summer League roster in mid-July of 1979. So that's right around the time where Magic left Michigan State to join the Lakers. Did you have any interactions with Irvin at that time, or what was that experience like to be part of that Summer League, trying to look for another team to play for there, Bill?
I knew Magic before this. I was in the pros. He's 2 years younger than me, so I actually met him at the McDonald's Classic. We was playing the Bullets, and he was playing the McDonald's Classic. So when I got invited to play with the Lakers, I could have made their team that year, but they had a lot of contracts on their team. They had like 17 guaranteed contracts, so they couldn't sign me then. But yeah, he played with us in the Summer League, Southern California League. We used to go pick him up, drive to the game, and talk. And actually, I could have played for the Lakers. But I had Louis Chappelle, who never called him up, and I missed out on an opportunity right there. And Magic was gonna help me. He told me gave me the agents, Tucker, whatever it was, and called him. I said, no, I'm with Louis Chappelle and Jerry Davis, the All-Pro reps. They're gonna get me something. But actually, they were stealing my money. So this is the same guy that owned the Miami Heat for $800 million, stealing 18, 19-year-old kids' money. Okay, and that's what I said. I don't want to be no star, man. I want to go. And that's what they basically gonna put me like I'm Michael Cooper. I know I wouldn't have started there, but I know people would have treated me different if I would have been on a championship team just by winning. You know, go see the president and all that. And I don't never want to be treated like that. I just want to play ball, have fun with my friends, and do that. Give an entertainment game for the fans, give them their money's worth. And yeah, I met Magic. He's a good friend of mine. But like I said, billionaires like him and people you meet, I got 20, 30 celebrity people from my hometown that never come back. Well, I knew Magic, but he's from Michigan. He did his thing, but I don't think he was no better than me. I think I could get 30 and hold him to 10. Because a lot of games out there, I could figure guys out easily. Because all they do is run you through screens and they find bad defenders to make a fool out you. And me, like I said, when my man, I'm usually on a guy that's shooting all the time, but when you don't have the ball, I'm helping out all the time.
I read that you signed with the Cleveland Cavaliers in September of 1979. What led to the Cavs signing you as a free agent? How did that come to be?
Well, actually, he was the Lakers coach in the Summer League, and he was assistant coach for Jerry West. And that's how I got the opportunity to play for the Cavaliers, because he got the job. Him and another guy, McCleskey, I think his name, he went to Detroit. These were guys that were assistant coach for the Lakers that got GM jobs and coaching jobs.
Jack
so he knew I
McCloskey?
could play. Yeah.
Yep.
Now, I'm not sure if that's his name, but he became the general manager of Detroit Pistons.
Yeah, that's him. Yeah, Trader Jack.
That's him? Yeah, that's him. So they gave me the shot, and they wanted me with the Lakers. Like I said, that was too much Hollywood and stuff with me. You know, I didn't want nobody to treat me different just by me winning championships. I'm from New York, New Jersey area, and people was at your house and stuff every day, and you in L.A., and I'm young, I'm a single man. So I went to Cleveland and then go to L.A. because I don't think it was, at that time, I don't think I had nobody to keep me home and keep me away from all the Hollywood parties and all that kind of stuff. So I went to Cleveland, and I played and I had fun. And if you look at it, Jerry West, that's what he does all the time. He robs from the poor and gives to the rich. Because I was in Cleveland, and you look at Cleveland and L.A., they swap players all the time. So that's how they got James Worthy. I was there. They traded like Dave Robish and Kenny Carr, Don Ford, Earl Tatum. All of them was Lakers, went to Cleveland. And the other thing went at Elmore Smith. And then you had Jimmy Jones, Butch Lee. All these guys come from Cleveland to the Lakers, even what they make. So that's what happens. And a lot of teams make deals and give each other the players that they need to win championships. They're saying, yeah, give me this player. You have the player. Give me a draft pick. So actually, they swapped picks for Kenny Carr and Butch Lee, and I thought they got James Worthy, because Cleveland, after that, they didn't win at all. They didn't do nothing. That's why they changed it to where you can't have 2 draft picks in a row traded, because Cleveland was signing players with big contracts and still come to last place.
Yeah, that's when Ted Stepien was taking over as the owner in Cleveland, correct?
Yeah. And then he signed like Scott Webman, James Silas, Bobby Wilkerson for big contracts, and they still was coming to last place and giving away their draft picks. Could you imagine that?
No, I can't.
Yeah, so I left there. If you look at it, everybody, it just was crazy. So this is every year in the league, you got stuff going on like that. You coming out of high school, and you thinking, I just want to play ball, man. You go to college, but there's no money, can't do nothing. Okay, you can be on the Sports Illustrated cover, and guys, are they really going to school? Are you really going to get a job with your education? So you come to the league and you don't play, and try to look like you can't play. You look in the box score, and you don't score a lot. You don't do nothing. People don't even know at all that. That's what I'm saying. You're from the SEC, the ACC. If you look at it, any sport, or if they're ESPN and all those guys who run, they are the big money of sports. Okay, it's not college. College is just you get education if you want, but it's TV, Sports Illustrated, stuff like that. People making money, and you get into the pros, and you need 2 shooters. If you don't fit in, you can lead the nation in scoring. They tell you can't play defense. You turn the ball over, you pass, you getting cut. And you thinking, I'm the best shooter in the country. I know I'm going to get a shot. Or you can go and play 10 years or 12 years. You go to the right situation. When I was in Cleveland, I just wanted to play ball. They keep one guy in there who's getting 25 every night, and then it's a different forward. Me, Don Ford, Kenny Carr. We started sometime, we not starting. That's what I said. I could have went to L.A., but you don't know how it is to be. If you got a Benz or a Rolls Royce, or you wearing diamonds and Gucci and all that stuff, that people want to be around you because you got that. And when you have enough playing for a team that's maybe make the playoffs and here and there, I'm fine with that. I don't have to have all the gusto and teams that win. Oh, we great, and I'm a sportsmanship. When I play in Rucker, I got sportsmanship awards and everything. Not winning or losing, how you play the game.
I do like that ethos. In Cleveland, I noticed that you were reunited with a teammate you were with in Buffalo, Randy Smith, a guy you mentioned a bit earlier. He scored more than 16,000 points in his career. He was an All-NBA player, an All-Star twice. I'm not overly familiar with Randy's career, but I know he was a great player. How talented was he, Bill?
Randy Smith could be a Hall of Famer. He played 900 straight games.
Yeah, he was the Iron Man, wasn't he?
Yeah, only one guy broke his record. I think A.P. Green actually broke his record 10 or 11 years later. Nobody's faster. He played soccer. Okay? He could jump higher than any guard. He's only like 6'2" or something like that. And he used to invite me over, too. His wife used to cook me home, cook meals, and stuff like that. A lot of guys I idolized that I got to play with at a young age because it was always cold in Buffalo. It was a lot of fun being with Randy. I actually taped the game. He was on the All-Star team. He was the All-Star MVP. And I gave him the videotape of it to him and his mom. And he came and watched it. So Randy was a good friend of mine. And in Cleveland, it was nice to know, you played with somebody before. And you never feel alone. So like I said, I've been a single man my whole life or whatever. And it seems like at home, everybody get a home-cooked meal. They got a wife and kids. But you go on the road, everybody is together. Everybody staying in the same hotels, and we go into enemy territory trying to win. That was nice to get back with him.
Sadly, he passed away in 2009, only 60 years old. Very sad indeed. Who was the best player you ever played with or against? Could you narrow it down to one person?
Oh, the best person I played with was George Gervin.
The Iceman.
Who was the hardest to guard. It was probably Dominique Wilkins.
Oh, right. Out of Georgia.
The best player is probably Bernard King. George Gervin, he's probably the best one-on-one player ever, I think. But Bernard King was just unstoppable.
I think you mentioned earlier about Bernard's book. Have you read his book? It was called Game Face.
Oh, yeah, I read it. Yeah, I know him and his brother real good.
Yeah, Albert, yeah.
Yeah, I think somebody's going to do a movie on it, too. Supposedly.
Okay, right, there you go. After you left the Cavaliers, an article said that you headed over to Italy to play before the chance to join the Houston Rockets in the NBA happened later that same year.
No, that's not true.
That's not true?
No.
Huh.
Because I turned down opportunities to go over there because they know how they was treating people here, like Aaron James and Leon Douglas, Rudy White. These guys wanted to get me to come over there, but I never went.
Oh, okay.
Wasn't like I didn't want to play basketball no more, but I don't think nobody had my back. So I wasn't going to go in a country where I didn't speak the language just to play basketball and make money. So I knew when I went to the pros, I wasn't going to play but about 10 or 12 years at 30. Just how they had it hooked up, Lucifer Fell and all that. I was supposed to go to school, play till I'm 30, go to school for 5 years, and that's where all my deferred money would kick in until I got my pension. It just stole the money. Messed me all up, bought the Miami Heat, stole everybody, and that's what happened. That's why I faded out of position, because I didn't want to play ball no more. If I wouldn't go out there for the love of the game, I didn't care how much money they paid me. So when I went back to school, they said, "Why are you in here with us?" I said, "I wish you have your dream come true. If it's Hollywood, an actor, singing, a ball, whatever, and see how it is. It's a lifestyle." And I would say that the people that you see going up, you're going to see coming down. So you don't want people to think you want to do a good job wherever you at. So I wanted to stay in one place, find love or something, and help the young kids. So I couldn't do that playing ball because I didn't think they was going to let me, even one season, to see what you can do. I think I was 20 years ahead of my time because if you look at it, Kobe, God rest his soul, LeBron, KG, and all these guys, they let them play right away. I would have did the same thing. I would have had a 15-year career. I would have been an all-star if they'd let me do that. So that's why I went to school. And I'm like saying, I love basketball, but I didn't even want to dunk no more. I didn't even want to jump no more. It was just like, get the ball and pass to somebody and do what the coach said. That ain't a basketball.
No, all the exuberance was taken out of your love for the game at that stage, it sounds like. In late November of 1980, you signed as a veteran free agent with the Houston Rockets. How did the opportunity to join Houston come about?
Well, when I turned down the Laker deal, I didn't get signed right away. And then I did an article on ABC, forget the guy's name, him and his son were announcers. And he said, well, I wasn't in the league. And I got picked up the next day because if your agent's not calling people when you find them interested, if you see it in the paper that they're calling your agent, and then you tell them, call your agent, and they want you to come up without your agent. So I signed late that year because that's what happened. And then I got put on TV, and I just got signed with Houston.
Yeah, in this day and age, obviously things are a lot different with social media and the internet, but back then, fortunately, it sounds like TV exposure then led other teams to realise that you were available and you ended up joining the Rockets that way.
Right, exactly.
In 1981, on that Rockets team, you became teammates with Moses Malone. And of course, we mentioned earlier that he jumped straight to the ABA out of high school. What was it like to be playing together on the Rockets, given you both had that similar experience of foregoing college?
Yeah, we took the Houston Rockets to the finals. We talked to each other, and it was a pleasure to play with him. I remember him from back in the day. I got a lot of playing time, and that's when we went to the finals. We could have won it, but like I said, you got a coach, man, that starts you in the second half of a championship series.
Del Harris?
Yeah, twice. You don't tell nobody in the locker room. You don't have a play for them. You got the highest jump in the league. You don't have nothing. And then you just come out from the locker room and get ready to sit down and whatever. You say, oh, you starting. Then they're going to criticize you doing this, you this, that, re-sign you. I went through a lot, man, because I'm saying basketball is just not my life. They don't judge how good nobody is. And these guys stay in the coaching business 20, 25 years. Well, I'd rather be a coach or commentator than a player. So if you look at it, look at guys like Mark Jackson and Van Gundy and these guys. You leave that job like that, and it's a job where you got to know somebody to get in. So they go coach a team and get fired. Why do that when you can just talk the game? I know guys like Adrian Wojnarowski who did like 10 articles on me. You familiar with him?
Yeah, Woj, yep.
Yeah, Woj and all this, Connor. These guys wrote 10, 12 articles on me, and these guys won't even accept for my, if I call them, they act like they didn't know me. When I graduated, they put me on the cover of newspapers and magazines, and act like they didn't know me. So that's what I'm saying. That's why I didn't care to play with the Lakers and be stars. You're going to know me and I won championships. I'm great coming to the VIP party, but I don't make it. You don't know me. Ask them about that. They're making $8, $10 million. Got Stephen A. Smith and these guys. They know nothing about basketball, and they know what's going on behind the scenes. Rosen know you hurt before you hurt. You know, he'll call up the doctor. Oh, what happened? His Achilles hurt, and he have it on TV before you get to the game. I sat in his house with him. He interviewed me 10 times. So call him out all over the world and say, why you don't know Bill Willoughby no more? Okay? He's probably riding on a Rolls Royce, like laughing to his belly aching. Yeah? He knows in college those guys are not going to class, and there's only a certain amount of spots in the NBA. Say superstar driven and Hall of Fame driven. I'm like, I'm just as good as any of them. I'm a record guy. I'm a street ball player that made it to the NBA because I didn't go to no college. Okay? And they know I had guard skills and I could play center. I was playing Dawkins. I played, all these guys. And never got no credit because I ain't no stat man. And then you get your money stolen. So what have I done to anybody to do that? I can't get a job, got a degree. So Adrian Wojnarowski said, he don't know nothing about basketball. He can't play. Woj, he knows the management. Me and him can go at it like I had his job. But he had the inside stuff because that was his job. But I was a player. I knew a lot for being a player. And I'm the only guy out of 42 players that came out of high school with a degree.
Okay, I did not know that. There you go. That's a fantastic achievement in itself. To have the motivation and the perseverance to actually go through and complete the degree is, definitely a great achievement.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
In terms of the 1981 NBA Finals, what is your strongest memory from that 6-game series against Boston? They ultimately would win 4-2. It was only the second season of Larry Bird.
That I played in every game, and I played offense and defense. Like I said, I started 2 2 games in the second half, and I wasn't starting on the team. So he told me I was needed. And we would have won the series if Moses didn't say, he went bulletin board stuff. He said that I could take 4 guys from my hometown and beat the Celtics. Okay, he hated him that bad. And you don't say that in the paper because that's bulletin board stuff. And you can see they had blood in their eyes, so we would have beat him. We held Bird to like 11 points a game, and he couldn't do nothing after he averaged 30 against the Sixers. We held him down to nothing. Then when he said that, Cornbread and them had blood in their eyes. So, and then he didn't use Calvin Murphy, because if it wasn't for Calvin Murphy, we would have never got into the finals. He had 46 in Game 7 of the semifinals against the Spurs. He did not use him at all in the finals. He's a Hall of Famer at all. He a guy could get 40. So I didn't say anything. I said, man, we should have 1 game or 2 games where Moses and Calvin take all the shots. All the shots. Both of them take 50 shots. We'd have beat them. You know, but you can't tell a coach what to do. Just sit there, and every time they put Calvin in, he's only 5'9", but he's one of the toughest players ever played in the game. When I got into the NBA, I started seeing it was coaching. Like I told you about GEQ. How you got 12 players and let them just go one-on-one? That's crazy. You got to have plays. You got to get to your best players. Then you don't know a good player from another one. But other people, the high-priced guys, get the praise, but they don't get when things get wrong, they don't say that. Or you know he's an all-star, but the rest of his team messed up. First time the Houston Rockets got to the finals. And people know me. And that's why I'm trying to get this picture right now to be known all over the world again. Because if you look at that picture, I caught his dunk, and the people in L.A. named him Son of Flubber.
Son of Flubber?
Flubber. You know what that is?
I've heard of the movie Flubber, but I'm sure it's not to do with that. No, what's that?
Yes, it is.
Oh, it is?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. A Walt Disney character, I think it was Jerry Lewis, who had anti-gravity on his feet.
Oh, okay. Yeah, right. Son of Flubber. I get it.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's good.
That's what L.A. fans call me. They all know me like I played from L.A. So that's why I want to use oh, you're good, man. That's what I want to use on the picture when I put it out there.
Yeah, that's clever. I like that. So that first round series, just speaking of, because you had to defeat the defending champion Lakers to get through, I think it was then Kansas City and San Antonio you defeated as well on the way to the finals. But that series in the first round against the Lakers, you upset them in Game 1 at LA. They then won back in Houston for Game 2, and then you defeated the champs in Game 3 by, I think, 3 points. You had that incredible block in Game 1, which I've seen a photo of in a newspaper, but I've heard the commentary, and it's a fantastic moment. You got Kareem again in Game 2. So you're one of a very select few who actually blocked his shot. If you had to identify a single moment from your career, is that the pinnacle for you as far as being able to swat Kareem's skyhook?
Oh, no question about it. To have defensive freedom. Because I would have never left my man to help out if the coach didn't say I did it. He should tell me that during the season, where if you could go and get it, go get it. Every time I see a basketball go up and shoot it, it look like a popcorn machine or something to me. I feel like I want to go grab the shot. If I wasn't scared the way I would land, I would block 9 or 10 shots a game. If I didn't think nobody would undercut me on their shoulder or something like that. So I used to have to keep myself on the ground saying, I don't go for that. It's too dangerous. Because when I actually blocked Kareem's shot, I blocked it twice in that game. They called it goaltending. And I remember my cousin telling me, yeah, because you let it out of his hand. The first one I blocked, you see, is in his hand. It's like I blocked his dunk. But the one that I blocked it almost to half court. But they look at it like, oh, you're supposed to just fingertip that. You can't block Kareem's shot like that. But I timed it perfectly.
Incredible hops, for sure. Son of Flubber makes perfect sense when I think about it. In mid-October of 1982, you signed as a veteran free agent with the San Antonio Spurs. And per Basketball Reference, you played 52 games with San Antonio. You had double figures 9 times, and your season high was 18 points at Denver. How was that tenure with the Spurs, Bill?
I should have went to Phoenix. That's why I messed up again. Because I almost want to tell Walter and Larry Nance and Alvin Adams and them blew the championship by going there. If I'd have went there, we'd have won the championship. But then again, I had an agent who never called the guy. Okay, then Stan Auerbach, who I played before with Cleveland with, took me because I thought I could be the final piece of them winning the championship. So I played with him. I knew Mike Mitchell before. I was all right with Gervin. I know Gervin since he was in the ABA. and they brought me off the bench. And that was a mistake because they started Gene Banks, and Gene Banks is only 6'4", power forward. So they started with him, and San Antonio never made it nowhere. George Gervin never made it to a final or nothing. So they didn't use me correctly, and I thought we could have won the championship. We just had to get by L.A. But they were stopped. They had Bob McAdoo come off the bench, Michael Cooper. They beat him again. They didn't keep me on the team the whole year because they wanted me to play defense, and I was keeping up offensively. But San Antonio, they gave us like 140 points, and I wasn't that type of player. It wasn't a situation where I could kind of see certain people going to shoot all the time, and certain people going to do that to keep their average up so they get paid, and they're not trying to win. I know basketball so well that if you give somebody the ball and you know they're not a passer, they're averaging 25 points with no assists, you're going to find a way to make this guy take bad shots. And that's what happened with San Antonio. You had Mike Mitchell, George Gervin, these guys were just gunning shots up. Nobody was under the board. Gene Banks was 6'4", so they had no rebound. And I didn't start. So I only played 18, 20 minutes. So as good as you are, you ain't going to get beat in the playoffs. Real men rebound, play defense. That's what I saw there. I kind of didn't want to be a star or nothing, or superstar or all-star. I really didn't. That sounds kind of crazy, but I don't think I could have handled the lifestyle that comes with it. And then if you look at it, there's always a lot of women and drugs around. And that's another part of the game people don't say. You know, when Lynn Byers passed away, you had Walter Davis and all these guys turning themselves in, saying a great talent like that could die. And they just didn't quit. They had to go to rehab. And a lot of guys was telling on people that where you get your drugs. I'm not saying I would have used it. I didn't use drugs. But when it's passed around like candy, I'm just glad that I didn't have no drug problem and have women that I ain't a good father with. You never get credit for those little things, but that's what I'm proud of. So going back, if I'd have been in the Phoenix, I think that might have grabbed me. That's why I tell you I didn't want to be no superstar, no star, nothing like that, because what's next? The Rolls Royces, the diamonds, the gold, a couple of wives, and then all of a sudden your lifestyle is too free. And what else can you do?
I did read in numerous articles, actually, whilst I was researching for our chat today, where you had similar quotes where you were talking about not wanting to be a superstar and the fact that some of the things that come along with that would possibly end up wearing one down. You've kept that as a constant throughout your life, even to this day, talking about it being that way. So, yeah, I appreciate the honesty and openness. In late March of 1983, you signed a 10-day contract with your home state, New Jersey Nets, and then you signed a deal to play for the rest of the season with the Nets, and that also continued through to the 1984 NBA playoffs. How did it feel for you to have a chance to play with the Nets, a team you'd been linked to a few times earlier in your career, particularly given your obvious ties to the area?
Yeah, well, it had to be a connection. I had a coach I played with before. Well, first it was Larry Brown when I went there. The next year I played with Stan Auerbach. Then I got to play with Darryl Dawkins, so that made the whole thing, like my book and everything we talk about. I want to get a logo about high school to the pros. Okay, I played with Moses and I played with Darryl. And we hung out, and I know they had my back. And that's another team we could have won the championship there. It was coaching. Guys get scared, get out coached. Well, first year there, we lost to the Knicks when Larry Brown left, and we got another coach there. We went out. But the next year, Stan Auerbach, we beat the Sixers in the first round. They was the defending champion. And we still went all the way to the finals that year. But he refused to play people coming off the bench. In Milwaukee, those guys outplayed, same guys that outplayed Moses and Philadelphia, Andrew Toney and those guys, and Dr. J. So I felt I should have been playing a lot more because I had championship experience and I could shut down anybody that was hurting us. So just playing with Dawkins and being at home and being around New York City, that was fun. Family and friends coming to the game was always good. And I kept everything good. I had a home, and I was looking for love at that time. And I was just saying, yeah, I'm going to go try to maybe go overseas after that because I could see that they wasn't playing me and thought I had all the money that I need to have. I wanted to play 10 or 12 years, but that was my 8th year in the league. I just basically wanted to stay in one place and go to school. Then after my lawsuit and stuff came up, I realized they was ripped me off. So that really gave me a bad taste about basketball. So I was just looking for somebody who basically just really cared, and I didn't want to be a so-called like Planet Hollywood. And, oh, I seen you on TV, man, or you this and that. Why you ain't TV no more? You know? Why you not playing, man? Why this? And it take too long to explain what they see and what they really see. They cool you off when they want, and they use you. And I got so many examples of it that they could play you to trade you. And you thinking, or you think he'll get a contract, and they're just playing you just so they can get rid of you. It ain't me. Basketball does not make me who I am. I'm in sports, education, fashion, music, and social justice. That defines me. So me being the first out of high school and being known 3 ways, get drafted out of high school, be the youngest, and making Supreme Court history, going back to school. And I just want to motivate the young kids, especially where I'm from. I said, you could be right there with your idols, because I did.
In terms of your college degree, you went back and got your college degree. What did you enjoy most about that journey through to graduation?
Oh, everything. Everything, man. From the first credit to the 120th credit. Persevere and get through. Be the first to come out of high school and the first to get a degree. And I motivated everybody, and I watched every sport like I was just in college, like I was young at 18 years old. And I talked to them, and I want to go back there and put my documentary in there, because I sat in there and got everything. All them credits, the math, English, like I tell you, calculus, algebra, I did it all. So you put your mind to something, you can do anything that you can do. And I just went to all the games, bowling, soccer, baseball, and I felt great about that. I'm trying to motivate people with education. I could rap, I could dance, I could do anything, because I said in my mind I always was a guard. But I always played just to make my coaches happy and give my best effort. And that's what I did. And I think I'm one of a kind doing that, playing in New York. Nobody played in New York and Jersey like that. It was a first-team All-American. So I got both experiences. And I could tell when somebody's playing just for numbers. But now, it's just a basic money game. 3-point shot. How do you take dunking out of the game? The ABA had a 3-point shot. And he messed the game up totally. If you look at it, the 3-point shot was a gimmick from the ABA. It was a gimmick. It was like, oh, you losing the game 140-98. The home team gets 100 points, they get free pizza. So how's that going into a strategy of a championship game?
You talked about some of the things that define you. What are you most passionate about these days, Bill?
I live up in Pennsylvania, and I'm like an hour and a half from where I grew up, from New York and Inglewood. So I sent them to the Earl Monroe School. We'll have a basketball school there where they teach kids about sports leadership, sports administration. And I might go back and get a master's degree so I can teach in there. And I want to speak from kindergarten all the way up to college. My college, Fairleigh Dickinson, and my school, I went to Dwight Moore High School, and just talk about everything. I try to tell kids only 2 or 3 hours in a basketball game. What you do with the other 21? You know, get your proper rest, eat right, and don't think you're missing nothing out there. You know, everybody's partying, and you just stay home and get somebody to care about you and look forward to making a difference out here. I think I've had, because people know me as the first guy that came out of high school. That's what I'm proudest of, and just being recognized to where, oh, let me come talk to your kids, man. And it could be any age, not just basketball.
2 closing questions, if you don't mind. You've been so generous with your time today. Basketball Digest had a feature which was called The Game I'll Never Forget. Is there one particular game from your career, whether it's high school or the pros, that stands out more than any other?
Not one particular game. I think I played a total game. Like I said, I'm defined by E.
Mm-hmm. E for everything.
Yeah, I think I did it all. And I didn't play the game. Like, you hear people when they come out of college, they say, I want to be a Hall of Famer, and I want to be an All-Pro. That's not me. I just want to play the game to win and entertain the fan who paid money. So you go to the club after the game, and they say, dunk one for me, man, or do this move, man. And that makes me, I'm going to do it for them. So dunk one for me, playing against Dr. J. playing against Dow Dawkins. You playing against this person, and I look forward to talking to the people. So it's not one defining moment.
Well said. Did you have any particular significance to the jersey numbers that you wore during your career? I think you wore 32 and 33 in high school, but then with Atlanta, Buffalo, and Houston, you wore number 32, and you had number 33 when you were with Cleveland, San Antonio, and New Jersey. You're a numbers man, so is there any significance there at all?
High school, I wore 24 first, and that was because I met Jimmy Walker. You know who Jimmy Walker is?
He was the number one draft pick, wasn't he?
I'm not sure what year, maybe 68, but right before Earl Monroe. Yeah, he played for the Detroit Pistons, for Providence. So he's Jalen Rose's father.
Of course.
My aunt's husband took me to meet him when I was in like 6th grade. He wore number 24. So my first year up in high school, I wore number 24. And then some teams that you have, if you wear 24 at home, 25 on the road. So 32, 33, that's what I wore in high school. And also, you know, I was Dr. J's number. When I was in high school, Walter Davis, he was my idol also. I got to meet him because I might have chose North Carolina. I met all those guys when I was on a visit. I met him and Mitch Kupchak, Phil Ford, because I was going to go there. And I just switched to Kentucky because if I went to North Carolina, I would probably stay 4 years because they never had a guy leave early. In Kentucky, didn't care if I left early. So, yeah, 32 and 33. Also, Dr. J. I like Dr. J a lot. When I grew to 9th grade, that's when he went to the ABA. So I was like 6'5", then he was 6'6", so I tried to kind of emulate what he's doing. Plus, I was seeing him over in the Rucker. We played our high school games before them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I got to meet him and stuff like that because we would play the high school all-star games, and then Julius Erving, Fly Williams, and George Gervin, all those guys would play afterward. I met all those guys. I had a experience, Connie Hawkins. And man, I used to come back home and we had to go to school the next day, man. And my mind would be like, did I really do that yesterday? I said, right over in New York City, man. You met all these guys. I said, yeah, man. We look forward to doing it another time. So that was like the record.
I love it. Well, Bill, it's been great to have you on the show today and learn more about your life. Thanks very much for making yourself available. I'd just like to thank your niece and nephew who actually helped connect me in the first place to you. So thanks again and all the best. And I do hope that the documentary gets finished off, and I look forward to hearing more about the T-shirt you're looking to hopefully produce with Kareem, and also a book might be forthcoming. So all the best across all those avenues.
Oh, yeah, I appreciate it. And I appreciate Hakeem and getting to you so we can speak. And actually, they go on the internet and everything for me. They're trying to help me with the book and the T-shirt and all that. Wasn't for them, I wouldn't get to talk to you.
Thanks for taking time to chat to some guy in Australia. It's been a thrill to speak to you, Bill.
Okay, you're welcome.
Thanks for listening. I welcome your interaction with the show. Tap the microphone icon on my website to send me a voicemail. You can suggest discussion topics or guests you'd like to hear conversations with. Time now to share another great review from a fan of the show. Thanks to Jossie99 via Apple Podcasts, United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. It's titled Entertaining Look at 90s Basketball and is rated 5 stars. It reads, started listening to this podcast at the end of 2019 and even more once the lockdown happened in Scotland. I found myself starting from the beginning and working my way through the collection of episodes. The interviews are always insightful, entertaining, and sometimes very funny. I get a real kick of nostalgia from my youth in the 90s listening to the Jordan and Bulls stories. Thanks, Adam, and keep up the great work. Mark Joss in Scotland. Thank you, Mark. You're a champion. I really appreciate the review, mate, and thanks for being a faithful listener of the show. Worldwide, the show has 198 ratings on Apple Podcasts with an average of 4.9 stars with 101 reviews across all providers. Thanks for your continued support. If you add a review, I'd love to read it out on a future episode. Your ratings and reviews are one of the best ways to support the podcast. If you enjoy the show, please do tell your basketball-loving friends about it. Word-of-mouth recommendations are truly worth their weight in gold. Stay up to date with my podcast and subscribe to my free NBA history newsletter. You'll receive exclusive details on upcoming episodes, future guests to appear on the show, and more. Sign up via my website or simply email me inallairness@gmail.com. You can follow my show in various ways. Search In All Airness, 3 words, on your listening app of choice. The show is available on most platforms. Check the podcast archive for plenty more episodes with a great range of guests. Join me next time for another edition of the show.